Holy smokes. This thing is very bouncy. What's up? This was sent to me by ClickClack. So this is technically a sponsored review. Yesterday was also one, but as you guys know, I'm not afraid to say bad things about things if I don't like them. This is a % keyboard. Now, even though this was sent over, also Dork, thank you so much for the Prime, and Trink, thank you so much for a Prime as well, bro. 5 and 11 months. Let's go, guys. Thank you, guys. Percent has a weird history of, I would say, like awkward customer service. Some people chalk it up to a language barrier type thing. Some people say it's not just a language barrier. Some people say it's, they actually just don't help out very often. I've also been told by other clients and consumers and customers and stuff like that, it depends on how you, I guess, like, there's so many variables and how they help you and stuff like that. So it's been a mixed bag full of like responses and stuff that I've gotten about percent. So just be, I guess, cautious if you guys are going to be purchasing this. Now, this is going to be vended through ClickClack, which ClickClack has had a pretty good track record in my opinion. So let's take a look at the board. This is the Platinum. It's also quite expensive, but so there's a normal version and there's the Casio version as well. And I believe it starts at $415, not $405. And then if you want the stainless steel weight, that costs a little bit more, $505. And then the copper weight, which we don't have, is $520. ClickClack has great customer support. Yeah, that's why I'm not like too worried about it, but like I thought I'd let you guys know, So packaging from Percent has always been great though, I have to admit. Every board I've ever received from Percent Studios, or just any board I've done from Percent Studios, has always had like nice packaging. This is no exception. You open it up. It has all the stuff you need right at the top, nicely laid in foam, and then you can just remove this piece here, and you're greeted with the keyboard. So kind of nice. I don't know what color we got, by the way. The question is tactile or linear? Ooh, I'm a linear guy, bro. I'm a linear guy through and through. I guess that's it, right? There's nothing else in this box. Looks, oh yeah, it might be the purple one. Huh. Is the purple nice? Let's see, is this a nice purple in person? Okay, I got rid of the plastic on it. Okay, so I'm very interested in this board for one big reason. Not only does it look, I think, quite pretty, it also is using those copper leaf springs like we saw in the spring. So this is an interesting board because it's also being, I don't want to say collabed with, but they're utilizing some components from Owl Labs, which is interesting. And you guys can kind of see those springs at the top right over there. All right, let's take a look at this purple. Oh, it's actually quite pretty in person. It's one thing to look at the photos, but ooh. So at $415 to start, it definitely has some nice curves to it. Damn. Oh, so this is the stainless PVD'd one. God damn. This is quite nice. No, I would say on camera it looks pretty accurate. Wait, this is kind of nice. It's a big weight on the back over here. God damn. Very nice curves. That's actually a nice silhouette for the back. Okay, and how does the side profile look? The side profile reminds me a little bit of that Cat 65 keyboard that just ran, but it's a little bit more aggressive in the way that it has curves. Wait, this is kind of nice. Huh. Badge on the inside. How does the front look? Pretty standard. Actually, it has a little bit of like a silhouette on the front too with those curves coming out. This is quite pretty. Quite pretty. And then it has a separate, I believe this is a brass piece as a separate little accent on the back here too. God damn, that's not a flattering reflection of my face. One thing that Percent made a big deal about on their webpage was how they put a special badge on the inside. Not for nothing. I guess if you appreciate small deals, this is like small details, this is, a big deal, but like, it's on the inside. Who gives a shit? Like, you're never going to see this. I would have preferred this maybe somewhere on the back so you can look at it at the very least. So to kind of make that a selling point or a feature is, to me, a little bit ridiculous. But I do have this other badge on the side over here. Now that I put a thumbprint on it for you guys. I don't mind this. I would have liked this to be optional, but it does have the name of the board called Platinum. Interesting cable. It's like a ribbon cable meets a JST connector. Interesting. Very, very interesting. All right, so we got the rest of their stuff over here. We have those little nibs, I guess you can call them, for our leaf springs, which should be kind of interesting. Here's the aluminum plate. Wait, this is kind of like... See, this is another really fun small detail that I kind of appreciate. It's an aluminum plate, but whatever coating they've put on this, I don't know if you guys can even tell. Maybe not. It has a bit of a texture to it. It feels very premium for an aluminum plate. So whatever coating they put on this feels really, really nice on this too. So interesting there. Sort of like a sandy texture, yeah. We got a bunch of foam, which I don't know if we're gonna use today. I'll put this to the side. And then we have a 1.2 mil PCB. Now I didn't have any options with this. It doesn't look like they have any, options for a 1.6, which is fine. 1.2 is fine because they did include some shims for our stabs, but it does make using clip-ins, if that's your preferred method, a little bit more difficult. No, there's no meme cuts on this. There's no flex cuts. It looks that way because they do have a version with it, but there is no flex cuts on this. No flex cuts on this one here, which is good, which is fine. Oh wait, no, sorry, it's not good. It's preference. Flex cuts, if you like them, you like them. If you don't, you don't. There's no good or bad. Just trying to save my ass for later, you know? I don't feel like dealing with the comments later. It is hot swap, so worst case scenario, if we absolutely hate this, I can just take this apart at another day. There is a switch that goes here, I guess so, yeah. All right. Now we can open up this board. Here's the PCB with the switches installed. So here's the internals to this keyboard, by the way. Same idea as the spring, right? So you do not really want to touch these. Like, you do not want to fiddle with these at all. So these essentially would go up and down. I'll fiddle with them just so you guys can see. But they would sit on these guys, these little leaf springs, which is interesting. In theory, it should make the board really bouncy, if that's what your goal is. I did notice a downside when I did the OwlLab spring, which I wasn't too sure if it was the spring itself, but these mounts resonate a lot. So we'll see if that happens again for this board. I'm hoping not, but we'll see. So let's install all of our little, I guess it's easier to do it this way, my mistake. Got to install with the little nipple down. And these just rest on these little leaf springs. I don't know if they'll deform in the long run. I didn't get to keep that spring, so I have no idea how they'll form or deform or whatever in the long run. I guess let's try installing this with no foam first. God, there's like no good way to grip this right now. In case you guys wanted to see the internal badge, it looks like a cool back of a playing card, but again, it's on the inside of the, come on, focus, inside of a keyboard, so it doesn't really matter too much. Here is those leaf springs, in case you guys wanted to see those. Interesting, very, very interesting. I have a weird feeling this is just not gonna work properly. I do not like this cable as per usual, but I see why they have to have it. No, you know what it is, and this is like a frustrating part about this, by the way. They put the hot swap socket so close to the cable that it's extremely hard to insert the cable because the socket gets in the way. This is not the first time that a company has done this, and it just makes it so difficult and fidgety that, like, the actual plastic for this just does not fit fit nicely, and you end up fiddling so much with the cable that you're like kind of ruining it in a lot of ways too. I think I got it in now, but my God, this is like, I don't even know if it's on. All right, there we go. Bad placement for that. Very bad placement. I'll take a look here in a bit, Tom. And now we're just going to align all these things on. Actually, we got it on first try. That went in pretty seamlessly. All right. Now, put this all back together. I have no idea how this is going to sound. Again, if memory serves, I personally thought the spring sounded a little bit too metallic-y, and I needed to use foam. So let's see if this is going to be the same thing. Interesting. Here's some like crunching a little bit of the cable underneath. I'm hoping it settles as we type on it here, but all right, that's so weird. Yeah, they said this was a very soft typing experience. All right, let's put some keycaps on this bad boy. Holy smokes. Dude, with no foams inside this, this thing is very bouncy. Okay, now, we're not using any foams. We're using some HMX switches. I have a feeling we're going to need some bottom foam for this, but let's give this a go. The board itself is actually very pretty. Let's take a little tour of it again. It has a nice little curve. The side profile is very pretty on this. You can kind of see the weight peeking out. It is a good looking keyboard. I have to give it to percent here. I don't think I love this badge on the top, but it does give it some character, which is still kind of nice. The bezel thickness is, I mean, that's all preference anyways. The bottom of this board looks fantastic, or at least the back piece, not the bottom. The bottom does look really good too. It has this big stainless steel weight on it. You could get the aluminum version. There's different price points for all these things. This keyboard ranges from $415 to about $520 in terms of price points. Now, one of the negative two things I will say about this board, before we get into the typing experience and typing feel and all that stuff, can we get a wink inside the weight? Hold on. There you guys go. The one thing that I think that I could live without is that awkwardly placed JST connector. It's a little bit hard to kind of plug in correctly. And then the other thing, I really wish they had some different layout options. I don't know about you guys, but I personally like having more layout options in my custom keyboards. Helps with the whole custom feeling of having a custom keyboard. So kind of a little bit annoying. It didn't look like they had any sort of other options for anything here, so I guess we're just kind of going to live with it. It is using those leaf spring mounts found on the Owl Labs spring as well. I'm not sure if any other keyboards from Owl Labs also has those at this point. But without further ado, we're using HMX switches, aluminum plate, no foams. Little HJ test with you. Ooh, tinny. I had a feeling this would happen. I'm not the biggest fan of this personally. I don't know. I feel like it needs... I don't know if you guys can hear it. The alphas just sound very metallic, and this is what happened with the spring as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and add some foam in this. All right, let's get this thing plugged in again. The purple calls to me. It is a very pretty keyboard. It has a nice back, has a nice bottom. Side profile's nice. I enjoy the mounting style, that it's a little different. So it's not quite the same, thing we see over and over again. So kudos to them for at least utilizing a different mounting system. If it does need, I feel like it does lean better with foam. It probably will anyway, we haven't typed on it yet. Because it did seem like it had some metallic resonance that needed to be kind of killed off a little bit, but... Oh yeah, that already killed off a lot of that. Yeah, that sounds way better. The ping is pretty much all gone. It didn't really sacrifice too much of its springiness. It's still there, not quite as... Actually, nah, it's still there. I wouldn't say it's just immediately as bouncy now, which is fine. I can still somewhat hear some of the pinginess though. Am I hearing pinginess? Right there. See some of the echo? I mean, it's not a terrible sound signature when it comes down to a little bit of that echo over here, the little metallic resonance, that feedback a little bit. So if you like that, that might be a characteristic that you really, really enjoy about this board. Otherwise, super nice typing experience. I can already tell you I really like this because with the foam on the bottom, it makes it a little bit firmer and it's very soft. If you don't mind some of the metallic-y sound signature that's coming through, perhaps the FR4 plate would be better for this. Then you'll probably really enjoy this keyboard. Other than that, Poppy spacebar, alphas, with the exception of this one row right over here. Alphas all seem pretty nice with the foam. Perhaps you do need to use the mid plate, or the plate foam on this. Mods are fine on this. Yeah, I think visually this is very pretty. Internally, a few things I'd want to change personally to make the build experience a bit cleaner. Other than that, I don't think this is a bad keyboard at all. Bit spendy, bit pricey for what it is though. Take care everybody, love ya, and bye-bye.